Today is May 3rd, 2025. This is still the west end of Copco. I somehow stopped the last video, so I'm continuing on from here. This would be the road that I just came from. You can still hear the springs. They're still running. It's been a while since I've been able to get up to this end. I saw where the trees were down, where you couldn't get past. Those have been taken care of, so now it's passable. That would be looking east. If you look close enough, you can see the houses on the other side. You can kind of tell where it has grown and where it hasn't. If you look, you can see all the trees that are over there that are dead and dying. Might be kind of hard to tell because there's not a lot of light today, but they're right above that bright green tree and that whole region right there. Those that started dying after the dams were taken out and breached over a year ago. Kind of zoom in so you can see the other side. You can see the benches that are now present. If you look off over there, I can see it visually, but there's a lot of timbers dying right in that region too. But I'm making my way that direction. So I'm going to continue on down the road. So this is looking north of Copco. I shouldn't say north, sorry. I'm looking up towards Copco east. This drainage right here would be Beaver Creek. I believe that's the new Beaver Creek. You can see all the logs that they brought in right there for the restoration project. Kind of what this whole area is looking like. And in that real green area right there is where that spring water comes in. You can see over there is where they're doing work. Not sure what they're doing, maybe putting in a boat launch day use area, I don't know. But up and around that bend is like where the dam was. You kind of go down a little bit and then it bends back, and in that bend is where the dam was. And actually, if you really look over there, you can see all the dead and dying trees that I was showing earlier. But from here, you can actually look up in that canyon even further and see more of them up in that canyon. So anyways, that's what it's looking like right here. If you look, you can actually see some of the trees that were here before the dams were put in. Some of them are still, well, not alive, but existing. Not sure what kind of trees they may have been, but if I look between the power poles, I can see them out there too. Alright, so I am going to continue my way around. So I just come from that direction. It's getting a bit windy. And this would be like, I guess, the Beaver Creek drainage. It kind of flows, you can see kind of the trees is kind of where it flows down through, the dead trees. Down there would be the Klamath River. Sorry, the wind is picked up here. There's definitely birds flying today. I can't really tell what kind they are from here. I'm sure you can see them. And this would be, like I said, the new Beaver Creek that was formed once Copco was drained. Those are all the timbers. And it looks like they have placed some down in here, like probably last year. It doesn't look like there's much water flow. I'm not sure what this drainage right here is called. But over on that other side, it's Beaver Creek. And I'm going to head on up and around that direction. But this is what it's looking like from here. Whew, that wind's got a bit of a bite to it. Alright, I'm going to pause and head my way around. So that's the direction I just came from. Way down there is the Klamath River, where it's flowing through now. Lots of dove up here today. I think they're the Eurasian dove. And then that would be Beaver Creek, the newly formed Beaver Creek, where it flows down. There's some water flowing in it. I'll show you here in a second. But it comes in down there somewhere. You can kind of see it meandering its way down there. And that would be the Klamath River. You can tell that they've been down there. Must be a little soft. Don't know when though. Looks like some of those timbers they did put in that are right over there. And out, all Beaver Creek. If I look, there's another little runoff over on that side. It's actually running dry. You can kind of see the fence right there. It kind of looks like they put some timbers out through there too, like in that region. But there's no water flow going out that direction. I just crossed it right there in that little drainage as the road comes up through there. But you can see, I mean, the soil is still that cracked clay soil. Stuff is kind of growing, it's patchy. So this is kind of the rest of the Beaver Creek. And I will continue on up that way. You can kind of see there's an excavator or something sitting out of there, over there, some sort of a piece of equipment. There is water flowing through it, which I'll see as I get on up and around the bend. I'll cross over that culvert. Not quite sure what's right there, if they put a culvert in or what they did. It's kind of hard to tell from up here, or if it's just making its way around and it's just really hard to see right through there. This is kind of what this whole area is looking like. I'll zoom into that part. I don't know what that is, if that's metal so that they can get back and forth, or rock that's fallen. I don't know what that one piece, that looks like a sheet of metal or something. But that's Beaver Creek as it flows down. All right, I am heading on down. So this is another shot of Beaver Creek. I didn't realize that my phone was still videoing. We'll see if I can edit that part out. This is looking up Beaver Creek. You can see there's tracks down in there. That's looking, going out. So I'm gonna pause it and head on around. So this is another look looking down Beaver Creek as it goes to the Klamath River. There are no fences here, no trespassing signs. So I'm gonna walk down there. So this is kind of what it's looking like down here. don't see nothing that says no trespassing. But this would be Beaver Creek. So anyways, this is what Beaver Creek looks like. That's looking down towards the Klamath River. And that's gonna be looking up the drainage, so I am going to head on down that direction. So this would be the head of Beaver Creek. And this is where it comes from. I don't know if this is a seasonal creek or a year-round creek. Might just depend on what kind of a year it is. So anyways, I'm gonna continue on around the bend. This would be looking up Beaver Creek. I was just up there at the culvert. This is kind of what it looks like here. I'm not going down often there. It's kind of steep right there. But that's in the direction in which it flows. It's kind of hard to get it through the trees. But anyways, all right, I'm off on farther down the road. So that's kind of like looking up the Beaver Creek drainage. Over on that side is where I went down to look. Like I said, I haven't seen any no trespassing signs. Only on the opposite side of the road, like up on the hillside. And that's what Beaver Creek looks like from up here. So I'm gonna go on down the road, show you what it looks like. This is another looking up Beaver Creek. That would be as it flows out to the Klamath River. And that would be looking west from here. And in that ravine right there would be down where the dam was. That's where the day use area and where they're working at today. That's kind of what this whole area is looking like. I am going to continue on down the road. So that would be looking up the Beaver Creek way. That side is the direction in which I just came from. This is looking west. Sorry, it's a little rain or windy. This little drainage right here is still Beaver Creek. You can see some of the trees that they put in it last year as it flows down to the Klamath River. This is what it's looking like from up here. And that would be looking towards where the little town of Copco is. I'm not quite there, so you can't see it. But there are houses on the south side. You can kind of barely see part of the Klamath right there. thinking that might be somebody's dock from one of the houses that are up there. But all of this used to be underwater. So I am going to pause and I'm going to head on down. Okay, so that's looking west towards where the dam used to be at Copco. Here you can actually see the Klamath River pretty good meandering through there, as it's taken its new footprint where it used to formerly be. You can kind of see where it meanders this way. And if you look, it'll kind of goes over on the other side of that bench right there. But that's looking up the Beaver Creek drainage where I just came from. Kind of zoom in so you can see it over there. You can see where the reservoir, the lake used to be. I am slowly making my way that direction. So I'm going to keep going. So that's looking west where I just came from. I'm standing up here where I'm at. These little, I can't remember what the name of this sticker bush is. It's pretty, but I don't like them. When they start to dry out, I have them at my house. They are pretty, but I don't like them. But this is what it's looking like from up here. You can see that there is grass down there growing near the edge. I know that they have seeded this area. We have had a lot of rain this year, which has really helped a lot of this out. You can see that the soil though is still pretty, there's a lot of cracks in it still. That clay soil. Not quite sure what kind of grass that they planted in here. It doesn't look like the rest of the natural grass that's here, that's on the hillsides. Just as a comparison. That would be what's naturally here. And then that's like what they planted. can see there's still a lot of cracks in the soil. It'll be interesting to see what things look like this summer. And you can see the Klamath flows over there. My bearings are a little off. I want to say that could be Mallard Cove. It's been a while since I've been up here. But you can see all the houses that are across over there. Like I said, I'm not sure which houses, but a lot of these houses have had problems with their wells. They've had water brought into them. I don't know what their situation is currently. I don't know if anybody's had their wells resolved. But it's in this area that there's been water problems. People have had their foundations shifted and moved. Ground has been sinking over on the south side. I don't know exactly where. But anyways, I am off on up that direction. Another shot, this will be looking south. You can see all the docks over there from the homeowners where the lake used to be. That would be looking west, the direction in which the Klamath River now flows. So that's looking west towards where the dam used to be, in the direction in which the Klamath is flowing. See, there's a little drainage right here. There's a little bit of water trickling through it, not a whole lot. You can see how cracked the ground is and how deep those cracks go. Actually, there's a fence right there. It used to be a fence. You can kind of see it go all across right there. Anyways, this little drainage, you can see it goes out through there. Continues on and comes into the Klamath right there. But just to give you a perspective of some of these cracks. Sorry, the wind is blowing me around a little bit. But you can see what the ground still looks like up here. Over there is where the Klamath flows. You can still see some of the trees that were here pre-dam. They haven't moved. All right, I'm heading on up.